All right, guys, this is going to take a minute. We want to look at the Manticore, the Deus 2. The Deus 2 has a new negative silencer setting. How do I feel about that? Well, we are going to look at a live demo from the field with the negative silencer setting. We're going to look at an unmasking test with the Manticore and the Deus 2, and we're going to talk. You guys are going to have to bear with me a minute because I need to kind of lead up to this and talk about the settings on the Manticore and the Deus 2. The Manticore has an upper and a lower ferrous. And yes, as some comments in my video, we can lower the upper ferrous down and gain unmasking. But there comes a point in my area that it basically becomes unusable. Carolina Digger, who is what I would consider a very, very advanced detectorist with the Manticore, me and him hunt together, and we go to a lot of iron-loaded colonial sites, Civil War sites with the big nails. And it may be, those nails may be different than what's in Europe, but about a 7 is as low as you can go. So we want to test these two detectors with usable settings. Well, we're pushing the boundaries. Minelab put out that -1 thing on the Elite, and I believe the Equinox. And is it even usable, or have we got into this area of where nail test, in videos, and I don't know. But this is what I'm going to say. I took the Deus 2 diving this week. I used a -3, but the iron was not machine gun iron. It was a Civil War sight. You guys stay tuned for that video. I'm talking about epic finds, epic Civil War finds. And I used it, and the iron was more scattered out. Few places it was heavy, and I used it with a -3, 6.8 discrimination. No problems. Now, took it to a colonial site this morning before daylight. I got a lot to do, so I've been up since about 5 o'clock trying to get this done and looking at this metal detector and trying to get it set up to where I feel like it's comparable to the Manticore, so we can do a fair assessment of both detectors. Well, -3, 6.8, is it usable? We might try 7.5 discrimination on it. But you guys stay tuned to the end of this video for a live demo of this. Any of these machines, the Manticore, the Equinox, the Elite, the Triple Score, we can make adjustments, lower tone breaks, negative silencers now, negative iron biases, Manticore, lowering the upper ferrous limits. And yes, you can gain unmasking like that, but when I go metal detecting, I don't want to dig every nail on the site. You know what I mean? Then it becomes not metal detecting, but excavating. And there is advantages of opening a machine up right to the edge, but there's, in my book, an acceptable level. Where's the acceptable level for 3 or -3? I don't know. But I do know that in my area, the acceptable level for the Manticore is 7. But we will look at it at 6 too today, just to compare. But let me quit rambling. And sorry about the long ramble, but I'm trying to be very fair to both of these detectors and both of these manufacturers. Because you start walking this tightrope line of what's usable, not usable, and we don't want to be showing non-usable settings on one detector versus another detector that's set up in a usable way and wouldn't have an advantage. And you know what I'm saying? So the video that I did was show the possibility of it the first time, and I said I don't know, but I know a little more about it now, so stay tuned. And yes, I'm going to remove the coin and show you that it's not the nail falsing at the end of the video with the settings on both detectors. But I got the coin set up to where it challenges both detectors. Let's look at the Deus 2 first. We're going to raise the discrimination on the Deus 2. We're going to start out with a 6.8. Can you hunt there? That is very, very debatable if you can use this machine at 6.8. You sure as crap can't use it at a 4 or 3.7 like somebody tried to tell everybody to use this machine, and that was usable settings. And I'll demo that in just a minute with these negative silencers. So there's a discrimination to 6.8, -3. And both machines, we're going to cut them back just a little bit. High EMI here. And the Manticore handles EMI better on my deck than the Deus 2. It's probably the best machine out there for EMI. But we're going to look at this dime. And I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to show you it's not the nail. I'm also going to show you that what ridiculous a discrimination of 4 is. You know, so the gent said that. Slash, go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down. You can use a 4. Wait a minute. You can use a 3.7. What a joke. What a joke. Okay, going back to 6.8. I'm going to lay the coin right back there real tight on that nail. Whoa, I got discrimination way too high running my mouth. I'm going to test it at a 7.5. Let's go to 6.8 real quick. Let's go to about a 7.5. But let's look at the ID change. I almost feel like a 7.5 is a bare minimum that you're going to be able to use this if you're willing to pay the price. Now, let's look at this ID change when we go back to 6.8. You see that 85 clicking in the window there? Well, XP has made this change with this machine to where the ID response changes to get rid of that 7, 8s, and 9s. But I'm going to point out one negative to that I've seen, and you're going to see in this upcoming video, is that the nail heads, when you get those high spikes, and the Manticore does it, the Deus 2 did it with 0 silencer, even 2 silencer. But what you'll see is in this video that I'm going to show you with the Deus 2, as you move the silencer from -3 to -2, the high spikes start dropping down with the ID range 6, 7, 3, 4, 5. But you'll see a lot of the high spikes come in the 80s on the -3. So just keep that in mind. Lot of moving parts to this, and a lot of, figuring it out. But I will say this: if you've hunted a site to death and you want to take either of these machines and put them into a position of where they're basically on the edge, over the edge, you can do that, and you will eventually find something. But just know that you're going to pay the price. Do I recommend a negative silencer, 1, 2, or 3 just to go out for general hunting? No, I don't, because me and Sharpshooter was talking about this. How many of us actually used a 0 silencer, except some of the custom programs how many of us used a 0 silencer with 6.4 discrimination, much less 4 discrimination or 3.7? I can't believe that fella chose to die on that hill. I really can't. You see how ludicrous that is? I mean, and those videos are still up, man. I can't believe that got you. So we're here, all-terrain low conductors, and this is what we want to look at. This is a 7 and a 3. Let me. I'm not going to move the coin yet, but I'll move it. And you're going to see it get better. Upper 6. Sounds a lot like the Deus 2, don't it? Sounds a lot like the Deus 2 in the upper 6. But I can tell you, I can't use an upper 6. It's just not possible here. Let's look at the ID on that. See where it's painting? Let's switch it. Well, let's see what I want to do here. Okay, so that's all-terrain low conductors, upper, lower fares. Slash, leave that squirrel. There's a squirrel over there, and I don't have his collar on this morning, so I don't want him chasing it towards the road. Let's look at a low conductor here. Should do really well on it, too. And let me check this nail and show you guys. Handles the nail fine, right? Well, let's go in and look at what happens. 6. Watch when you hit 5. See the nails start cutting up. See so you see what I'm saying? You're right at the cap. 6. 6 is unusable. It's too close to the edge. 7 is what we've settled on here. -3 on the Deus 2. Yeah, I don't know yet, guys. I don't know. But let's cut it back on and check it again. Let's look at -3, 6.8. We're just going to mess around here just a minute and test on camera. You know, see if we see anything here, but you guys bear with me. Get back over here. Whoop, we don't want to do that. Slash, come. I don't want him getting close to that road. He's got a good recall, though. Look, he's coming back. And it handles that nail. You guys see that? We're going to tuck that nail. We're going to tuck it right there. See it up average that nickel? Okay, and that's a 2.5 reactivity. Let's look at the discrimination again. And let's raise it up. Let's see where we can raise it to. 7.5. Let's go back into the discrimination. So we're still matching the Manticore. I don't know if we are for IDEO. Up averaging. And they did that on purpose. They up averaged that. The way I understand it, it to make it not have the 7, 8s, and 9s. But let's go back here and look at this again. That Manticore noise cancel sweet, ain't it? And that's with that upper ferrous of 6, upper ferrous of 7, and we'll lower it to 6. And we see that it opens it up even more, but again, I know that 6 is not usable setting. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, what do you think about that? That's the Deus 2 -3, Manticore 7, 6, and that's pushing both machines to the outer limits. We seen that even with the 8.5, they were very, very close. Discrimination on the Deus 2. And it's like if you're going to run those two settings on the Deus 2 run in conjunction, silencer, discrimination. We've seen what happened with a silencer of, you know what's funny about that? Let's just go ahead and show this real quick. Real quick right here. Let's just show this right here real quick. Let's just move this. And that particular nail right there. I'm going to show something so everybody will know. So we're at a silencer. We'll just go to silencer 0. Silencer 0. I'll show you guys this stuff. We're going to go to, Gent said you can run it at 3.7. Silencer 0. Wonder what happens to that nail. Still takes the nail out at silencer 0. -1. Starts cutting up. -2. And that's a disc of what? Let's try it back to discrimination 4. Yeah, right. You can hunt with a discrimination of 4. You can't hunt with a discrimination of 4 with a silencer of 2. It's unusable in pitch tones from fast program. It'll faults all over the place. But you guys check this video out. Deus 2 live in the field. Notice what it does. And one negative drawback that I see right out of the gate is those 6, 7, 8s, and 9s on those spikes are now, looks like they're coming up in the 80s with the discrimination down at 6.8. You guys be the judge at 7.5. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright guys, we're out here experimenting with the silencer this morning and trying to figure out, what the deal with it is on site. So I'm going to cut iron volume up so you guys can hear this thing. We'll raise reactivity and get the external speaker raised up here. And we're going to jump back and forth between silencers on high spikes. As you guys know, this thing will high spike, Manticore high spikes, all these multi-frequencies will high spike on some of these Civil War era and colonial nails. But what we're trying to figure out is where these negative zones, where can you use them and what are they for? And let me cut this light down just a little bit. So it don't blind everybody out. Alright, so we're going to go back over that same piece of ground with a 2. I've been testing this off camera. I'm just trying to let you guys hear. Let me just cut it up a little more. Whoops. Cut it up a little more iron volume so you guys can hear what's going on. See that ID there on that? Let's look at right here. Both of them agree on that pretty much. Little old piece of foil, I would imagine that's what's right here mostly. Let's run a -3 just a minute. I'm gonna test it on another piece of ground out here. Same piece of ground, we're gonna come back. We can hear a difference. Let's go into -3. Let's look at disc. About 7.5. I hear a spike right there. Let's check that with a 2 silencer. Even spiking with a 2, but a little bit worse than -3, but I wanted to check that discrimination setting. Alright, let's lower it back down. 7.5 looks doable, but it's very advanced. Messing with it off camera. Raising racket, man. Same piece of ground with a +2 silencer. This is a heavy iron sight, so let me just let you guys see this. Yeah, this is no joke, so let's go home and we'll talk about this. I've been testing since way before daylight, and I got a lot of things to do today, and you're going to try to get a video up and really talk about this setting. GoPro, stop recording.